feels right now like the Cubs are sitting on a plane on the tarmac at O'Hara Airport. Like they know that they're about to take off, but for some reason, the plane just isn't moving yet. Are they de-icing the wings? Is there a storm somewhere along the route that is holding them back? Yeah, it's the storm that we know as Shohei Ohtani. What's he going to do? And it feels like the Cubs are kind of in a, we're just going to wait. And then when he decides, we're going to figure it out. That doesn't mean that they might not make some small deals along the way. We're going to talk about one of those on today's show and something else that I think you guys will find interesting as well. Thanks for hanging out with us here on the Cubs Baseball channel. If you're not part of our roster, we want you to be part of our roster. Like and subscribe. If you enjoy Cubs content, give us a thumbs up. Thanks for hanging out. What do you say, everybody? I'm Mick Gillespie, and welcome to the Cubs Baseball channel. Right now, it's the calm before the storm. You know that it's going to happen, but when's it going to happen? And are the Cubs going to be able to sign Shohei Ohtani, or are they going to make a push for Cody Bellinger? Are they going to make a trade for Pete Alonso, Juan Soto? I think they're going to do something significant in this offseason. And right now they're pushing hard for the Japanese Babe Ruth. So we'll see what happens. A name that popped up, though, that I thought was worth talking about was reliever Robert Stephenson. And you're talking about a guy that had a tremendous season. I mean, he's a veteran of the NL Central. You remember him with the Reds. You remember him with the Pirates. And this year, he went from the Pirates to Tampa Bay, and he had his best season as a major leaguer. And when you put these stats up, I mean, they're tremendous. Between Pittsburgh and Tampa Bay, the guy had a 3-4 record, a 3.10 earned run average, and in 60 games and 52 and a third innings, he only allowed 30 hits. He only gave up 16 walks, and he had 77 strikeouts. And when he got to Tampa Bay, he was one of their best relief options. 3-1 record for the Rays in that pennant race in that very difficult AL East. He had a 235 earned run average, so he was actually better there than he was in the 18 games that he pitched for the Pirates. And in 38 innings there, plus he only gave up 18 hits, 8 walks, and had 60 strikeouts. So, I mean, he was, closing in on, in the neighborhood of having, as many, like 2 strikeouts for every inning. I mean, not quite there, but in that neighborhood. So he was tremendous. And as an 8-year pro, he is kind of coming into his own. And he's someone that the Cubs and some other teams obviously are interested in. So we'll see what happens there. But as the Cubs try to bolster their bullpen, this guy, if he was able to continue that same success that he had in Tampa Bay, it would really benefit the Cubs, who I felt were hamstrung last year with just a handful of options to use in the close games. So they would love to kind of add to that. We talked about the possibility of them going out and making a play for Josh Hader. I just don't think that's going to happen. I don't see them giving up $80 to $100 million for a reliever. Adbert Alzolay last year did a tremendous job. He's just got to come back healthy. But a guy like Stephenson would be a big asset for the Cubs and their bullpen moving forward. This was something worth talking about. You don't have to worry about Jason Heyward returning to the Cubs. Not that that was ever an option. And I think most of you guys on the message board were like, we'll pass. We've seen this movie and good movie, but we're done with it. Yeah. He re-signed with the Dodgers. He got a 1-year, $9 million deal to come back. He was their 4th outfielder. He actually did pretty good in that spot, and they'll hope that he continues that. The other news that pertains to the Cubs really doesn't pertain to them specifically, but it's their arch rival, the Cardinals. St. Louis just signed Sonny Grey, who was one of the best pitchers in baseball. He was the guy that opted out of a contract with Minnesota, and he gets a deal with the Cards. And all of a sudden now, St. Louis is starting to stack up some arms. You know, Gray joins Lance Lynn, former Cardinal, who's back again. Kyle Gibson, who was with Baltimore. And all of a sudden, those two guys on one-year deals join Gray as the Cardinals try to regain themselves, which they've always been a franchise built on pitching and seemingly defense. And this past season, they were the worst team or one of the worst teams in the National League. And, and all of the guys that they had, Goldschmidt and Arenado, two of the best defenders in the game, but it didn't help, it's because of the pitching and even our old buddy Wilson Contreras. So they go out. This is the third starter that they're bringing in, and it shows you the direction that St. Louis is going. Maybe that pushes the Cubs to make, some blockbuster moves. But if you're in the mix for Shohei Ohtani, that tells me that you're willing to do what it takes to be competitive and dominate this division. We just got to see what happens. And we've kind of been up in the air on what Ohtani would mean to the Cubs roster. Well, he was the American League MVP. He's done that twice. The guy can hit. When he's healthy, he can also pitch. There's just a certain charisma that he brings to the team. It would be awesome to see him in a Cubs uniform. It would cost big money to do that. But we sit around and we try to figure out, what's this guy really worth? I think that he's so popular that he generates a lot of that money back. And if the Cubs signed him, I don't think that they would feel hamstrung by it, because I think they would still feel comfortable knowing that he's going to be able to generate a lot of the money that it costs to sign him back. And then maybe you could go out and still get other guys to help bolster the roster. So, that's kind of where we are right now. Waiting on what's going on. I want to remind all of you that the game plan is to be in Nashville next week for baseball's winter meetings. We'll try to bring you some coverage from there here on the Cubs Baseball channel. And we appreciate all of you guys for hanging out and being part of what we do. And if anything breaks, we'll bring it to you right here as well. So make sure that you like and subscribe. And don't forget that right now the channel is presented by the Tennessee Smokies. Hey, I got my hoodie on right now. The Smokies won their first championship in 45 years, going all the way back to 1978. They won this year, their first championship in 45 years, and they've got the swag to prove it at the Smokies team store, and they want you to go check it out. Cubs fans love good gear, and there's a lot of great gear there. Cubs gear, Smokies gear, a lot of just baseball stuff. So check it out, smokiesbaseball.com/store.